99% of people who want to try shadow operating make these same 5 mistakes. And in this video, I'm going to share with you what those mistakes actually are and how you can avoid them. So if you've been thinking about shadow operating and you want to save yourself months, if not a year of wasted time, then this video is for you. And why should you listen to me? Well, I've been a shadow operator since 2023 and have generated over 7 figures in revenue from this business model, and have worked with influencers who have a combined following of millions. So I do like to think I know what I'm talking about. Now, what inspired me to make this video today is that I just kept seeing the same mistakes from entrepreneurs wanting to come into this business model. They consume 50 videos, get excited, and just basically not even take any action, and then they give up and move on to the next business model. And the uncomfortable truth is that most people who want to start shadow operating never actually land their first client. And of those who do, they don't actually generate more than $10,000 in revenue because they don't have the correct system set up. And I could even go as far as saying only 1%, 1 out of 100 will actually surpass that 20K a month level. So the purpose of this video is not to give you motivational BS, it's to give you the raw truth. And even if it makes you feel uncomfortable, at least I can sleep well at night knowing that I've told you everything there is, so that you don't make the same mistakes and you can get your first client and start making money as soon as possible. So there is actually good news to all of this coffee. But no, shadow operating works if you do it right. And by watching this video here, you're going to be able to shortcut and bypass a lot of the mistakes that I see people making so that you can get straight to the good part, which is landing clients and making money. So the first mistake that I see people make is they constantly overthink and talk themselves out of action. I cannot tell you how many times I've heard people say they want to start a business, and then, they're going to say, I'm going to do this next week, next month, and then it just turns into years and it never happens. So many people just constantly overthink their actions and decisions, and that's actually the reason why they are where they are, because the traits of a successful entrepreneur is the ability to make quick decisions. So if you find yourself watching so many YouTube videos and you haven't even sent a single DM to an influencer, then what I want you to do after this video is find a creator, message them something, and don't worry if it's right or not. Just take that one step, that one action, because I promise you, as soon as you start moving and getting the wheels to go forward in the car, you're going to start to see momentum, and you keep taking small actions every day, you will eventually reach your goal. So in order to make this business work, the first thing you need to do is to shift the mindset. Because think about it, if you could have already made this business work and made $10,000, $20,000 a month, you would have already done it. But the fact that you haven't done it yet means there is something holding you back. And 9 times out of 10, it is your mindset. So the first thing you need to do is start taking ruthless action. I don't want to see you guys spending weeks and months on logos and business names. All of that stuff doesn't matter. I talked about it in my last video. So I know it can be hard and you want to make sure you make the right decision every time. But the reality is you never know until you try it. So no more overthinking every single decision. What if I pick the wrong niche? What if my business name is not right? All of these things are just paralysis over analysis. And if you stay in this state, you will never get anything done. So that's the very first mistake I see. You don't learn shadow operating by thinking, you learn it by doing. And the only way to do is start to take action. And it doesn't have to be perfect, guys. I need to stress that to you. You will make mistakes, it's inevitable, but as long as you learn from them and just keep going forward. Every single day you spend thinking is a day you could have spent taking action. And the way I like to see it is you're basically robbing your future self of money, because if you took action today, you would have made money sooner than if you waited and thought about it. So stop robbing yourself from your potential and just dive straight in. And the second mistake that I see people make is they go after influencers and creators who have a very small following of 5 to 10,000. Now, the problem with this isn't if the creator is good or not. They could have a really, good following and essentially be posting the right content and you'd like to work with them. And I know why people do this, because they think, a creator with 5 to 10K followers, they're more accessible to me, they are more likely to work with me, and this partnership is probably going to be easier to land, right? But the problem with this is that they just don't have a big enough audience to generate a meaningful revenue. You know, like you will spend the same amount of time building systems for this creator that you could do with a 50,000 or 100,000 follower creator, and you'll generate 10 times the return because they simply have a bigger audience. Even with the perfect offer, the perfect systems, a creator with 5K followers just simply won't convert enough at scale. And for this business model to work, you really need more volume. More eyeballs, more applications, more sales means more revenue for both you and the creator. And just to further show you that it's not really worth going after a small creator, let's do some basic maths here. Say you find a creator who's willing to work with you and they have 5,000 followers. Now let's be conservative with our estimates. Say you have 50 people, so that's 1% of the 5,000 followers see your offer. And then from that, say you have 10%. That's 5 sales from that 5K influencer. Now let's say you work with an influencer who has 50K, so you're going to spend exactly the same amount of time building the systems, same amount of communication, everything. And the only difference between the 5,000 follower creator and the 50,000 follower creator is that 500 people will see your offer, which would result at 50 sales. So essentially you're doing exactly the same thing, but you're getting 10 times the results. So I hope that made that clear for you and shows you that it's not really worth going after creators who have a really small audience. You really do want a minimum of 50,000 followers to make this work. Now the third mistake I see people make is they don't know how to structure their deal and partnership correctly. So what I mean by that is when they find an influencer, they want to go the retainer route and they want money upfront today because, you know, it's what they're used to. But the problem with this is if you accept a monthly retainer, then you are capping yourself at that level no matter how much money you make the influencer. So we're not trying to limit ourselves here. We need to charge based on the results we can generate. So it's really shifting from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset and saying, hey, look, that $3,000 or whatever the retainer is looks nice and I'd like that cash today, but let me say no to that and let me take 50% and work as a partner with them. And as soon as I can implement these systems, I'll be generating $30,000 a month. So I hope you can see that, you know, those monthly retainers cap your upside potential and you're back to trading time for money, which I think most of you want to escape. So you need to really shift this mindset to earning a percentage of the revenue because that way your potential is limitless. All right, and let's get on to the fourth mistake that I see people make, which is giving up too soon. I see people reach out to, 30 influencers, and then when they come back and tell me they got rejected or, that this business model doesn't work, I say, only 30? That's nothing. And I think the reason why that is because they underestimate the amount of work and dedication it takes to get a client. And you need to have a mindset really of just consistency and not expecting results so soon. Shadow operating at the beginning is purely a numbers game. It's about how many messages you send versus how many replies you get. And it's like a funnel. You'll start with 100 DMs that you'll send, maybe 10 or 20 will reply, and then you'll hop on a Zoom call with 5 of them, and then you'll get 1 client. But the good news is, once you secure your first partnership and your first influencer, that's it basically. Now you can go ahead and start the business model. You can set up all the systems on the back end and start generating revenue. So that's why I love shadow operating compared to other ones like SMMA or dropshipping or all these other businesses where you constantly have to get clients. This one is different. All you need to do is find one influencer and you can build a 30K a month business out of this. So you really need to commit at least 90 days to outreach and making this business model work. Set a daily target of 30 DMs per day, and no matter what, don't go to sleep until you've hit that. If you do that, I promise you'll start getting replies and you're way more likely to get a client. Now the fifth and final mistake that I see people make is they try to figure it out all on their own. They refuse to invest in help from someone who's already done it. They think they can watch YouTube videos and figure it out on their own, and they go through months of trial and error just to make every mistake in the book. And the sad thing about this is that they waste time that they'll never get back instead of just paying someone for the blueprint. And by the time they realize they need help, they've already wasted 6 to 12 months and thousands in opportunity cost. So the simple mindset shift you need to make here is realizing that the cost of not getting help is actually higher than the cost of getting the help. Every month that you waste figuring it out or thinking about it is a month that you could have been making $10,000 to $20,000 a month. And time is your most valuable asset because you'll never get it back. So you might think, look, I can't afford the help right now, but the reality is you can't afford not to, because if you don't make a change, if you don't learn from someone who's already done it, then you're just going to be constantly stuck in the same position and nothing will ever change. So after this video, 99% of you will basically go on your own and try to figure this business out for yourself. And then after a few months, you'll give up and go back to your 9-to-5 job. I know that's pretty harsh to say, but it's just a reality. But that 1% of you who actually want to change your life, for you guys, I want you to click that link in the description down below. You can apply to work with me one-on-one. I will hand you my entire system that has generated over 7 figures in revenue. I'll give you all my template scripts, done for you resources, and you can save yourself months of wasted time. So if that's you and you're ready to take action and change your life, then click that link down below. So those were the 5 mistakes. Now let me tell you how to actually succeed. Now a quote that I like from the late Charlie Munger, who was a successful American businessman and investor, he always said, invert, always invert. And what I mean by this is, now that I've shared the 5 mistakes with you and you know not what to do, we're going to invert it so that you do know what to do, if that makes sense. So the first thing, take imperfect action immediately after this video. Second thing, target influencers who have a large enough audience, minimum 50K. Third thing, work on a revenue share, not a retainer, so that you can maximize your earning potential. Fourth thing, commit to 90 days minimum of outreach to get your first clients. And the fifth thing, invest in help and compress your timeline. So all you need to do is do those 5 things and you'll become in the 1% of shadow operators. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, subscribe, and see you on the next one.